10 marker tackles.
Tackle. 10 marker tackles. 10 marker tackles. My misunderstanding. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this bit. I tried practicing this before the start, but I'm not sure I've got it right. Mitieli Vulicipani. Go on. Can you say it any better, Mark?
I'd say, Sarah says his name's Mitch.
I like Mitch. Right, so Mitch went for 2 tries and 180 metres, 2 good tries. Carlos Tuimavave went for a try in 146, and Andre Red Card Savelio got a try assist and 109 metres.
Yeah, on that red card, Andre Savelio and Josh Jones, who were both red carded, have both come out of this with grade C punching charges. Savelio must have more previous because he's got a 3-match penalty notice, where Josh Jones has got a 2-match penalty notice. Liggy Sow also got a caution for lifting the knee, but no further action for him on the high tackle direct head contact that resulted in a sin binning for him in the second half. Honestly, I didn't see Josh Jones actually throw a punch.
No, I saw him stick his head into Savelio's face.
Yeah.
But I didn't see him throw a punch, but it was sort of...
I mean, no doubt some were thrown in that melee, and Savelio certainly threw multiple.
There was a bit of a melee, so it's difficult to say categorically who was chucking punches at who. I assume that the referee may have had a better view than we did on the TV. I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
We had some fan views for this one.
Yeah, we'll start with Pop the Viking. Paul said, not a bad game to watch for the neutrals. Huddersfield deserved the win. Thought the referee got the calls right with the 2 red cards. Great to see Huddersfield fans still doing their bit to stop the spread of COVID by socially distancing and not having full crowds. We'll talk more about crowds probably once we've done all the crowd figures. I wish someone would stick the cowbell where the sun doesn't shine. Bloody annoying. I kind of enjoyed having it back.
It shows how desperate things have got, Mark, when the cowbell becomes some sort of exciting
indicator of normality.
Always in our shadow says tight first 20 with Snide's boot and former academy star Chris Six again doing their best to gain an advantage for the team. Unfortunately, the boot dried up and the team forgot how to tackle, while Six again and giant halves ran the show. If Jones hadn't decided to wade in after the legit tackle, red cards would have been avoided by both.
I think if Savelio hadn't have decided to turn back round and start giving a mouthful to the young kid that he'd walloped, then everything would have been avoided as well. Tom Andrews said, world's greatest club lose to Huddersfield under-19s in embarrassing fashion. Best bit of skill with Snade, nutmegging his own teammate from 40 yards away. Pure talent. Oh, and Savelio has been hanging out with Jake the trouser snake too much. First grade cockwomble. Yeah, maybe my view of it is shaded a bit by thinking every week now Savelio's involved in something, and whether or not, he's always the one who's in the worst of the bad. He's always somewhere around it.
Yeah, he does seem to have that unfortunate habit at the moment, which is a shame. And I don't think the guy's as good as he thinks he is, or indeed as his parents think he is. But I do think he's got, significant potential to be a very good player. And he doesn't need this sort of shit, quite frankly. He needs to focus on taking the ball up really well and doing what he did in this game on at least one occasion with a lovely scoop up and pass out for a try. He's got great hands, as Andre, and if he focused a bit more on that and a little bit less on fisticuffs and sailing close to the wind with other players, he might make a bit more progress towards where he thinks he should be.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's got the right mentality and maturity to be the enforcer that he seems to want to be without the ball. But with the ball, yeah, he got things going, didn't he? Really, with that offload for Tuimave's try after a little bit of luck with the ball the way it found itself to him off of young McNamara, who was trying to be industrious, and there was hands in there that helped it free and stuff. So, but great heads up play and quick thought. But that's when what's his chops? Hodgson thinks that them scoring early maybe lulled them into a weird false sense of security in the game, and that might have been their undoing. Is weirdly what he thought. What did you make of the rest of the scores? Because there were quite a lot of scores in this game.
There were. I mean, the lead switched hands quite nicely during the first part of the game, and then Huddersfield really pulled away into the latter parts. I thought there were some nice tries. I mean, Jerry obviously is still able to finish well. He gets himself over the try line. There's some, they scored the same try a couple of times with just catching centres drifting on the wrong line and putting the ball outside. I particularly liked young Price's try. And also his try assist. So there were a couple of bits of his old fella, I thought, in there. Obviously, I didn't watch the whole game, Mark, and I haven't seen him play before, and I'm reluctant to start to bang the drum for any young player because they can look good early on and then it can all vanish. But certainly his footwork and balance to score his try and a bit of pace to score his try was impressive. And then lovely left to right booming pass, which his dad was always brilliant at, a left to right pass, to loop over to put Jerry in for his final one, I think it was. So that was some quite encouraging bit to play. I thought Huddersfield would be very happy that at last they seem to be starting to gel a bit as a team and start to look like some of the things that no doubt Watson wants to do, are having a bit of an effect. They look more of a threat now than I think they've looked almost at any time this year. They do continue to bugger up our predictions, I must admit. I was one right all year.
Yeah, I was shocked at how many tries they scored. Having seen them twice in close succession recently, I didn't see them having as much in attack. Now, obviously, Price and Russell have had a chance to play together. I actually think that long looping pass was from Russell, not from Price. But
was it?
If I remember right, but then again, that was a right to left pass, not a left to right one. So maybe there was one in the build up to the Cudjoe try from young Price. Now
it was Cudjoe. You're right. Sorry, you're right. You're absolutely right. It was the Cudjoe try I was thinking of.
Now all I really remember from the Cudjoe try, other than it could have been defended probably better, was it was just such a joy-filled moment. I mean, I can't remember seeing too many players that happy to score a try. As what Cudjoe was on his 300th appearance for the Giants. So that deserves a mention and a pulling out in its own right, doesn't it? And you've talked about the Price try. I would like to talk a little bit about Ollie Russell's play as well in the game, because he had a hand in most of McGilvray's tries. And whilst McGilvray's second try just before half-time, to me, was never a legit ground in, but obviously they just didn't bring enough cameras to find out that it wasn't, because it just didn't look right. Didn't look or feel right to me, that one. But great play anyway, great thinking and spotting what the opportunity by Russell. And I think McGilvray's hat-trick try, again from a kick from Russell, was even a better demonstration of that from Russell. It was... we talk about wanting our young halves to play with their eyes up and play what they see and that sort of stuff. He did brilliantly there in that instance to pull the defence to create the opportunity and then see that it had developed and change what he was going to do that. So I thought he was really impressive in this game. I'd probably say him and Luke Yates were probably the standouts, although Jerry will get all the accolades for the stats and every credit to him for that, still doing that. What I would say is I do think absolute credit to Hodgson not using this as a defence or anything like that, or trying to use an excuses or anything, but Hull looked undercooked, especially defensively. The defensive intensity wasn't what we've seen from for the most of this season. It felt a bit like a pre-season match. It felt like a team who hadn't played for a month in defence. So I do think that played a part in it, because, like I say, I wasn't expecting Huddersfield to score, 8 tries was it they went out and scored in this game. So,
yeah.
And
even mate, Houghton missed a couple of what looked like relatively straightforward tackles, which resulted in tries.
Well, we bigged up his effort, let's say, with the 56 tackles, 10 of them being marker tackles. What we didn't talk about is 8 of them were missed tackles. As they had 8 missed tackles on top of that as well. So again, effort from him, but yeah, it wasn't to their level of intensity and performance. I don't think what they've delivered earlier in the season before they've had this unfortunate month off. So I think that played its part in it too. But it was an entertaining game to watch with all the tries being scored. So yeah. Terrific.
So moving on to our second game, it was Leeds versus Salford. This was watched by 10,500 people and refereed by Ben Thaler. It was 20 points to 0 at half time, and not surprisingly, therefore, Leeds ran out winners, 38 points to 16 in a little bit closer second half. Did we get any stats for this in the end for teams?
No, we're missing one of the Leeds players was missing. I don't even know which one. If I'm. Oh no, it wasn't one of the Leeds players. It was Atahingano from the Salford Red Devils, their debutant off the bench, who was missing from the stats.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so on player stats for the winners, the returning Harry Newman had a try in 150 metres. You can't argue with that. Conrad Hurrell, 6 tackle busts and 149. Tom Briscoe, 120 metres. Ash Handley, 1 try assist and 118 metres. For the losers, Ken Seo, a try and a try assist and 186 metres and 2 clean breaks. That's a fairly good stat line. Tui Lolohea, who ended up in the sin bin at one point, 1 try assist and 131 metres. Rhys Williams, 121 metres, and Ryan Lannan, 103. We didn't get any fan views for this, Mark. Did you have time to have a look at the tries on the internet?
Yeah, well, let's hit on the disciplinary stuff first, because there was a bit out of that. So you mentioned Tui Lola here got a sin bin. He got a grade A charge as well for foul and abusive language. No match penalty notice carried with that, so obviously he's got a relatively good record. Sebik Ahifo of Salford also got a grade A dangerous contact charge. No match penalty notice. I couldn't get the link to work for the full minutes of the match review panel, but I assume that was for the incident that he got his sin bin for, maybe potentially. I'm not sure, which followed just after the Tui Lola here one, which obviously set up an opportunity for some weak, tired defending from a stretched Salford side to see 2 or 3 tries going in close succession at that point, which made the game absolutely beyond doubt. Conrad Hurrell got a caution as well for lifting the knee. How does he not get one every week then? Because I thought that was one of his main tactics. But yeah, I did catch up with the tries, David. I don't know what you thought of it, but I kind of wish that they did a bit more replaying of the first try, because it came so quick into the highlights that I don't think we got to see as much of it as we would have wanted to. Harry Newman's try, I thought it was great play down the short side. I don't know if you picked that one out as well.
Yeah, no, I thought it was good. I mean, they scored the same try, was it 2 or 3 times in the first half, where they just had Salford's right edge on toast.
Certainly, they picked him off down the short side, didn't they, earlier?
And Salford didn't seem to know how to respond to that, so they just went back to the well again and again with the same result. Lovely balance from Newman. He does look a proper prospect, this fella, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, it was his quick hands that got the ball out wide to Handley, but Handley, I think, thought the sideline was cut off, so he worked back inside. Good work between Handley and Mellor after Handley had cut inside, and then Mellor found Newman, who kind of found that space on the wing and held the width for him to go